Hi guys, welcome back again. Today we are going to see another program to develop a website using JavaScript. So in this website we are going to use JavaScript to do some backend calculations, backend programs. We use this JavaScript as a backend program so that we can not only we can create a static website but also an interactive website. Using this we can create an interactive website. As we all know what is an interactive website, if you give some input and if the user expects a specific output, the backend program, JavaScript, PHP, jQuery, etc., these programs will be used to give that output. For example, here I have did five programs, 5 specific programs. One is for string manipulation, and another is for grade calculation, and another one is for design pattern, and one more for weight converter, and finally I have created a program to check the pizza order calculation. Now for string manipulation, if I give, for example, I'm giving good morning. Okay, so if I give good morning, the number of words will be counted and it will be printed here, and the length of the words as well as the longest and shortest. So here the longest word is morning and the shortest is good. When I give submit button, this submit button will automatically calls that specific function which I have been used for string manipulation purpose in the script part. That function will be called when I click this submit button, and that program will be called and it will be executed and the output is printed. Now for grade calculation, if I give 80, so the grade is A. Okay, here for example I give 2 rows and 2 columns. If I give submit button, it is the 2 rows and 2 columns will be printed. Okay, and now for weight converter, for example let's say 80, and here I want to count from kilogram to pounds. Okay, for converting, it says now the weight is converted here. Okay, this program is nothing but just a simple logic, that's it. Okay, for fresh page I'm just refreshing it so you can see this order. Okay, now it's asking for number of small pizzas. Let me give it as 2, and medium pizzas let's say 1, large pizzas it's 3. Okay, here the tip differs. Okay, 10%, 15% and 20%. First let's say it's 10%, and if I give calculate, it will be calculated according to the 10%. If I give 15 and if I calculate, the rate differs. If I get 20% and give calculate, now the rate differs. Okay, so this is more than just a static website. Okay, to do this more than that, we are using JavaScript in the backend. Okay, now let's go for the source program. Here you can see this is the script part. Okay, so all these things are in the script part. From see, the script ends here. Okay, so these are the division parts. Okay, now first let's go for the HTML part. Okay, in this here is just a basic HTML. As you can see, we are just inserting a background picture, and by using HR tag we are just giving this linings, and by using the table tags we are inserting this in a specific table in a specific order, and using button tags we are creating the button, and by using input tag. Okay, as you can see, if you give input type equal to text, the text box will be created, and type equal to submit, the submit box will be created. Okay, now let's go. So this is the table. Only in this table we are just inputting all the values, and here, so let's go for a submit button. Okay, as you can see here, here it is submit button. Yeah, so here it is a button for submission. Okay, for grading, see, as you can see the grading, so the grading is here. Okay, for grading is here. So in this submit button, after the text box is created, I am creating a button called submit. Okay, in this submit button I use a particular function, I use a particular attribute called onClick. Okay, this onClick is specifically just to specifically for calling the function calculate. Okay, and now when we using this calculate button, this calculate will be calling the function from the javascript here, and it will be printed there. So we are using the onClick function here, onClick attribute, so that when we click the button, the onClick attribute will be called, and in that onClick attribute, that function is stored, so that the function will be called directly. So here, see, in this submit button, the onClick attribute have show function. So when I click the submit button, it will trigger the onClick attribute, and it will call the show function. So here the show function is here. So as you can see, this is a script part. In this show function, some variables are declared, and I'm just by entering the parts in the variable. See, here it is there. Okay, so these words are entered in a variable. It is stored in an array, and by sorting method we are just splitting it. See, by using this split, okay, by using this split attribute or split function, we are just splitting the words that are stored in the variable, and after it is splitted, I am just storing it in a variable called y, and this y is stored in a character array, and sorry. So when I just use this character array, see, as you can see, it's a variable. So y.0.length, when I just give this, the length of the sentence which is stored in this array will be stored in the ch variable. Okay, so as you can see, this dot.length function will be used to store the amount of words that is stored in the array, and it will be stored in this variable like large, small. So when you call this here, the large and the small will be printed here. Okay, now let's go for the marks, the grading method. So when I click the submit button, it will call the calculate function. So the calculate function is here. It is so simple. As you can see, the variable which the value which I have been entering in the text box. So let's go here. The value which I have been entering in the text box here, it will be stored as GC. Okay, it will be stored in a text box in a mark variable, and the text box ID name is GC. So here the text box ID, that is the text box ID is called here, so that the value which I have been entering in the text box will be called here, and the function will be taken on. If the mark is greater than or equal to 95, then it should print grade O. Okay, if it is greater than or equal to 90, it should print grade S. If the mark is greater than or equal to 80, it should print grade A. Likewise it goes on. This is the best example for a JavaScript program. Thank you, friends.